All right. Hi, everyone. Sunday, June 8th, 2025, and it's 2:08 a.m. I need to go to bed. But a lot has been going on in the immersion program for the PhD in creativity. We're now essentially halfway through the program, and I am on my fourth version of the dissertation proposal, which I will now read for you. So it's transformed quite a bit, and you're welcome to continue to provide critique if ever you are inspired to. So here we go. There's great power in performing, the power to transfer energy from one human to another, whether that be for benefit or detriment, in a constant exchange unfolding in transformative indeterminacy between performer and audience. Truly, a power to wield the gamut of affect and arousal is granted to performers by their society. Performers afford humanity the ability to contain a spontaneous combustion of expression, and performers do so even at grave risk of injury or death, because with that risk comes the richness of warmth and light, situated at the center of their virtuosic flame. What is it about the flickering of that flame that I find so intriguing? Why is it that I, as a performer, am covered in soot and burns, like a party's trick candle, sparking back to life after being blown out again and again? There must be something about anomaly in performance that has consumed my soul. That performance is a thing which is whole, but which can be broken and made whole again. That my embodiment of performance appears to follow the Japanese philosophy of kintsugi, the golden repair. Perhaps it is that I am interposed between the crude exquisiteness of embracing a flawed performance for its uniqueness, because I'm human, and a perfect performance for its absoluteness, because all performers are trained to achieve effortlessness. That in the ephemerality of performing, there are many alternative sources of warmth and light, not only from a performer's virtuosic flame, but from illumination emanated by the shattering and reconstitution of expression in performative space and time. Shattering and reconstitution. These are important concepts to a performer. Most performers practice and rehearse strenuously in anticipation of disruptions to their performance. They believe there is only one opportunity to perform flawlessly and effortlessly for an audience, so they dissect material into its smallest motifs and rebuild it one element at a time. I have come not to believe in this singular opportunity to perform flawlessly, although I still engage in aspects of dissection. I am a performer bewitched by the flickering of anomaly as well as the continuity of the flame. Each step I take in the course of rehearsal and performance follows the choreography of many fractures which spread across performative space and time. It is paradoxical that through destruction a thing can be made anew. And I am the type of performer who reveals the joinery, the golden amalgam, the source of creative resilience, which holds the contents of performativity and its ultimate expressive form together through time. Here's what merits investigation into the modalities of my life as performer, researcher, and teacher. There will always be accidents and mistakes that a performer navigates during live performance. It is inevitable that an anomaly will occur in real time. Disruption and deviations which fracture the ideal form of performance, often experienced as moments of sheer terror or unexpected awe, may reveal unknown artistic qualities of a performer through their ability to ignite creative resilience. The study of performance anomaly is worthy of pursuit because performer and audience make meaning from these anomalies and yet there exists little research into the sources of fractures and the qualities that they impart onto rehearsal techniques, execution of live performance, and ultimately the emergence of value during a shared performative experience. Consider how many mistakes and accidents a performer endures during practice and rehearsal. How much energy is spent working to prevent the destruction of the ideal model of performance. Notice that mistakes are wholly separate from accidents in the way that they take form and function. A performer makes mistakes which appear to spring from within, while accidents happen to them, arriving from without. These makings and happenings are what drive the intensity and rigor of rehearsal and the emergence of anticipation before performance. Mistakes and accidents happen during live performance too, though, regardless of preparation. Some mistakes are catastrophic to the performance. Others, the performer can skillfully overcome and make to appear deliberate, sometimes with remarkably enjoyable results. Accidents can be catastrophic too, although the performer has no agency in their origin. This is an important distinction. Mistakes and accidents both have an anomalous nature, yet accidents are not considered the performer's fault. With this distinction in mind, amidst the emergence of anomaly in performance, an aperture tightens around the conceptualization of my research, mistake making in the performing arts. Mistake making is a type of creative resilience born out of incidences of performance anomaly. Of primary concern is where a performer makes a mistake. The performer is the agent of the action in this situation. A mistake dwells on one side or the other of the edge of intent. Mistake making is when a performer begins sliding precipitously and sometimes falling completely into an abyss of failure. Sometimes the performer can claw their way back, sometimes not. That all depends on skill. And of secondary concern, the circumstance where, through no fault of their own, the performer is subjected to conditions out of their control. An accident occurs. The performer still must react and respond to the accident. Yet from the performer audience perspective, nobody believes that what is happening stems from the performer themselves. Accidents fit within mistake making because the performance itself deviates from its purest original form. As soon as that deviation takes place in a manner perceptible to the performer and audience, we have situated ourselves in the emergence of mistake making. With these two concerns in mind, the first essential question begins to form. How do I recognize performance accidents? This question invites me to examine the environmental elements necessary for a performer to engage in performance. What is touched and externally felt, interacted with, and physically influential to the performance itself? In what ways do the material or the materiality of performance increase or decrease the probability of mistake making? And the second essential question follows. How do I know a mistake as distinct from an accident? This question is asking me to consider the human body itself, which is categorically necessary to engage in performance. What conditions are in the embodied space, and how granular can they be identified? This is important work since mistake making has such strong connection to concepts and meaning as emotional conditions within a performer. What probabilistic and deterministic factors are from within the performer's interoceptive systems, and how can we trace the connections back to expressed skill and technique? With all of these questions adrift, mistake making in the performing arts becomes much more than a search for failure or a commentary on virtuosity. It is an invitation to transform the techniques of performance practice such that creative resilience may appear as a luminescence between catastrophe and coherence. So there you go. It's now 2:18, so basically 10 minutes worth of dissertation proposal. And that's all I've got. And I'm going to climb in bed. So, I'll see you guys later.